Hi folks, in this video, and one of the things I love about this game is the editor itself. What I've done is I've created a little Pacific scenario, but this is done with the editor with Warplan. I just want to clarify that. You can see here I've created the island of Japan, and on the opposite side I've created the United States here, and by no means I just threw this together as quickly as possible. And what I've got here underneath here is actually the Hawaiian Islands. And with that in mind, I've recreated that faithful secret voyage. The carrier strike group is within range to attack Pearl Harbor. And one of the things I love about Warplan, the game itself is fantastic, but having the editor, you can kind of do some what if scenarios. What if, and in this particular scenario, what if the Japanese had brought an invasion force with them to invade the island of Hawaii? So with this in mind here, what I wanted to do is sort of recreate that. At this point in time, the two U.S. carriers are off to the side here. They're out of Pearl Harbor, and the Japanese are not at war with the U.S. at this point in time, so I am going to declare war here so I can actually attack Pearl Harbor here. I'm going to move my sub, I'm going to convert it to raider mode and place it just south of the port itself to keep an eye on any enemy vessels that might want to return into the port. I now have the carrier force here, and I'm just going to give it some supply here. Able to now attack Pearl Harbor here. So I've got it set up for a naval attack. You can see the 6 carriers that took part of the historic attack on Pearl Harbor. I'm going to move my mouse cursor over there, and I'm going to right mouse click, and you can see I've done quite a bit of damage on the first attack. So when I look at the report here, it looks like I've sank a destroyer. I bottomed out the Alaska, I sank the Alabama, sank the Arizona, the Colorado, and I bottomed out in the Illinois. So I've done quite a bit of damage on the first attack. On the second attack here, it turns out I haven't done as much damage out of all of it, but I did score some hits. The U.S. aircraft, because they were surprised, they weren't set up in a situation in full support mode, so they could not react to the attack. Again, just kind of showing in the scenario that the US was surprised by the actual attack of the Japanese. Now, as I mentioned before, this is a what if scenario. So what if the Japanese had brought an invasion force with them? Well, I'm just going to start landing. I've got 3 actual Marine units here, so what I'm going to do is actually I want the destroyer group to go with the first group, and I'm going to invade parts of the island one at a time here. So this first group is going to go here, and I'm going to invade the island, and I'm going to move in and get ready for an attack. The second wave comes in from the other side, and what I'm going to do is come in with the cruiser out of all of this, and again I'm going to invade, right mouse click, but this time I'm going to come in again, and the nice thing is I've caught the planes of the US on the ground, so as a result what ends up happening is they've been caught totally by surprise on the ground. So I'm now going to move in with my Marines here and attack the American forces totally surprised. And last but not least, I'm going to bring in my Japanese carrier and the battleship here. Actually, I'm going to leave my carrier out here. I'm going to walk in with the battleship. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to land off of Pearl Harbor and capture the port itself. So you can see here the invasion of Pearl Harbor went very well. I've captured it, leaving the American forces stranded, and this was just a what-if scenario. But what happens if, let's say, in real life, the Enterprise had been chasing reports of possible locations of the carrier fleet, and as a result the Japanese carrier fleet in real life got away unscathed and there was no invasion. What would have happened on, let's say, the American turn here if one of the carriers decided to actually engage the 6 carriers? So you can see here the Alabama sunk, the Arizona sunk, the Illinois, the Alaska, the Colorado, that the 1st Marine Division has surrendered, and that we've had a fleet retreat because of the capture of the port out of all of it. So on the American turn now, I'm going to take a look at this. You can see there's nothing left of the destroyer. You might as well run home. But here is the Enterprise, and the Enterprise is within striking range of the carrier group. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in on the carrier group and try to attack. And when I go to do that, the carrier force is just too strong, and as a result what ends up happening is the Enterprise is destroyed, and the US would have lost the carrier group out of all of it. So this was just a scenario that I created with the editor. And once again, I can't wait till Warplan Pacific, because Warplan is such a great game. And playing some of the other Matrix Pacific games there that are a lot more complex, like the Admiral's Edition, it's just too much micromanagement, whereas this game here has just the right strategy and tactical level of gameplay, which makes it a lot fun without the micromanaging aspect of it. And having an editor makes this game that much better. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. You have yourself a great day, and like I said, I just can't wait till Warplan Pacific comes out.